What's up, YouTube? All right, we've got Larry here with his Grixis control deck, also doing a deck tech for you tonight. So Larry, why don't you talk about your cards? We can read the list real quick here.
All right, so this list is actually Riley Knight's. A couple weeks ago on Channel Fireball, he wrote an article regarding the new Grixis cards, primarily the namesake of the deck right there, Nicobolus.
Oh, you're messing everything
I know,
up.
right? People saw Nicobolus. He's the main Thanos of the storyline, I guess you could call him.
Whoa, no spoilers.
It's no spoilers. Everybody knows who Thanos is. I'm not spoiling nothing. I'm not about to have people come to Lansing and hurt me. So he's seen
Not for that
Nicobolus.
reason, at least.
Right. He's seen Nicobolus, so he made a couple lists. He made a Grixis mid-range with the 4-drop bolus. I saw he was playing a lot of creatures and the normal Grixis builds. Then he had a control build based around the Dragon God. I saw it. I was intrigued. The only difference that we're having in the list from his is he was playing Deliver Onto Evil. I don't know if you're familiar with the card. It's kind of like Gifts Ungiven.
It's the search for, or no, it's target 4 in your graveyard.
Yep,
right?
your opponent picks. If you have Nicobolus, though, you just take
Right,
all 4 back.
right.
We tested the list as he had it. It's on Channel Fireball. I'm not about to go and recite his list verbatim. But Deliver Onto Evil was good, but there was a card that we wanted to play over it, and it is right here. Commence the End Game. This card right here is another win con, because originally the only win cons was these 5 cards right here.
Yep.
Liliana, Nicobolus. Everybody knows what these cards do. They're very powerful in the format, like so far from what we're prospecting upon it at least. But we didn't like the idea of no creatures because walkers, they play, was it Immortal Sun, and you're just looking silly because we have 3 answers in the deck for it, which we'll go over in a minute. So Commence the Endgame just lets you draw cards, gives you a win con.
Uncounterable.
Uncounterable win
really
con,
good.
which if people have been looking at the modal list, Esper with 5 Tefiris now, it's not a good day.
Yep.
So the deck is primarily a removal deck. We have 3 counters in the deck in Ionize. We couldn't play Censored Avatars because the main
double
goal,
blue.
Double blue and triple black on turn 5 can be a little awkward. So we went with Ionize. That's what he went in his article and mentioned. It does damage at the end of the day, which isn't a bad setback to it. So that's our counter package in the main board. For removal, spot remove, we have Moment of Craving, cast down, normal.
So 1 cast down, 3 moment.
Yep, we have 3 Vraska's Contempts, You got to get rid of those pesky things like Adonto Vanguard.
Rekindling Phoenix.
Yup, Rekindling Phoenix is still played. Just some of the...
This guy.
Yeah. More viable, annoying creatures. Unfortunately, Vraska's Contempt does not do much to the gods. That little
Sure
clause,
it does.
It does,
It
but
gets
it
rid of
doesn't.
them for a couple turns.
Yeah, that little clause is a setback, but we can address that at another time. Thought Erasure is really
Ionize
good.
is for the gods.
Angrass Rampage is probably one of my favorite cards that came out for the deck. I love multiple option cards. It reminds me of back when Kolaghan's Command was a thing. Unfortunately, it's sorcery speed, but being able to get rid of an artifact creature, planeswalker to my choosing is, and especially with walkers right now, there's a lot of good ones running around. And the artifact school, I've done it to people, Sorcerer Spyglass, when they've targeted me with Liliana. I go, okay, go ahead and sack it. Liliana's back active.
Yep.
Immortal Sun, same thing. So we have answers to that in case they do want to shut down our walkers. We did have some card draw added to the deck with Chemist's Insight. Search for Descant is not necessarily card draw, but it does let us surveil so we can make sure we hang our land drops.
It's late game card draw.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we have to make sure we're able to hit our mana for Nicobolus, Liliana, and Commence, because we have to be at 5 to 6 mana ideally to make sure that we can actually win the game and not just like dirtle around.
Yep. So we've got 2 Search for Cantas,
and
the 2 Chemist's Insights, and then the 2 Commence the End Games.
Correct.
And then I don't know if you mentioned we have 3 Cry of the Carnariums.
3 Cries, because mono white is still a thing. It removes majority of their deck. It's decent against red. It's not like the ideal, like we're instantly winning the game because Chain Whirler is still Chain Whirler. But it does remove a lot of them early threats, and as long as we can get to the mid-late game, we have an opportunity to close the game out. This was actually the last edition with Chemist's Insight because the biggest problem with this deck we were having was flooding. Because we had to move it up to 26 lands because at 25, which is the original count in Riley's list, we were not able to hit our 5 and 6 mana consistently. A lot of games we lost was because being stuck on 4.
Okay.
So we went up there, but in result we were flooding a lot.
It gives you a higher chance to flood, so,
Yep. So
that gives you a reason to jump start it, or
So-
a way to jump start it.
Augur Bolus. This was a 4 of in
Do we need
his
to have
list.
a conversation about this guy?
Yes, Augur Bolus. He says, look at the top 3, put them on the bottom of your library usually. However,
Occasionally,
occasionally,
he does something different.
that's how he felt when we were testing him without the chemistries inside. It was like, look
Okay.
at 3 lands and cry.
Yep. And those 3 lands are ones you needed.
So we did go down to 3 from the 4 just so we could fit a second chemistries inside. I know the mana doesn't equal up, but we needed something to prevent the flooding because we did go up to 2 searches. If you compare the list, if you have a moment to ever go on there, you'll be able to see the difference.
Or
in the
not,
two.
just use this one.
Yeah. Yeah, this list is cool. You know, it went 2-1. I lost in the last round, unfortunately, because note to everybody, don't keep a 5-lander with 2 Nicobolas. Don't do it, people. It won't end well.
But 2 Nicol Bolas is twice as good as 1.
It fogged for 2 turns, and then he died. It was cool. It was a good time. We all had fun, especially Antonio. You can see the other video. I don't want to remind myself of it too much. But
And then
Augur,
I think the last card is the Thought Erasures.
yep, Thought Erasures. This, along with Search, on turn 2, it makes it so we can make sure that we're hitting our land drops effectively. Like Thought Erasure, most of the time, if it's not a land, I want to pitch it unless there's an actual threat on the board I have to address. But we just want to make sure we're able to get to our win con so we can be able to at least close the game out if we have that opportunity. Because between Commence and Nicobolas, those 2 are going to give us, or we can get close to the lockout range.
All right.
It's no guarantees. And then we didn't really go over Lily. Lily's ability, you know, it's
Yeah.
Lily at the end of the day. Everybody's
Yep.
seen Lily for a few weeks now. Card's really good. I haven't ultimate the card in this. I've only ultimate one time in a little casual game. Very powerful, so if I ever get to that moment, it's good times. But ideally, we're making zombie tokens, which we have the zombie tokens
The
displayed
foil,
here.
the foil zombie tokens that
Foil.
are also. Oh nope.
They have a zombie
I
on back.
thought they were the two-sided
Sometimes
ones.
I use these for a mass.
Okay.
A mass token. But most times, just so everybody, we have Justin Parnell token here. He's our mass token on the other side.
Yep.
Just sitting here. You know, that way somebody's smiling as they getting hit.
Yep.
It's a good
Then
time.
we'll go over the lands real quick. So we've got 4 Water Graves, 4 Drowned Catacombs, 4 Blood Crypt, 4 Dragon Skull Summit, 4 Steam Vents, and then 3 Sulphur Falls. And then we've got 3 Swamps. And you'll see here, we've got 2 7th Ed that are white bordered, and they're mismatched. And then we've got 1 from War of the Spark that's not white bordered. So Larry just likes to, you know, troll people and put them on tilt with the white bordered cards, which brings us to the sideboard.
Yes.
So we've got, why don't you read the sideboard?
Yep. We got 3 of the most beautiful duress sets in the format at this time. In the game.
Ever
to
printed,
say.
really.
Ever printed. Look
Yeah.
at these. Just look at these white border. Like, they're gorgeous.
They are gorgeous.
If I could get these Liliana Nicobolas white bordered, I would right
The
now.
only way that you can make those more gorgeous is to take the original printing and acetone the edges so they are white bordered.
That's the dream right there.
Yep.
Dreamwork makes it teamwork.
All right, and then we've got 4 Thief of Sanity.
Just because that card is just really good. Esper plays them in a large number. There's no reason we shouldn't play them in a large number. They're good against green-black, which is still roaming around somewhere.
So you'll probably put these in when you're on the play.
Yep, against like Esper
Yep.
because
they're going to take out creature removal.
Yep,
Surprise!
yep, got you. You know, it's an oldie but goodie tactic against
Yep.
control. It still works to this day.
Yep.
Couple negates, you know, typical sideboard for a control variant deck.
Probably also what the duresses are for.
You have duresses, you know, you have to play them. It's kind of a requirement. Like if you play any black builds, it's like thou shalt play duress.
Yep.
Ritual suits just because you gotta get rid of some more creatures. Like mono white is very aggressive. They can sometimes get out of cry because Loxodon.
Or the what's the Lord ability or the Lord creature?
Oh, yep, you Veneris Marshal.
Yeah, yep.
Yep, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, they got that man land now. That's pretty frustrating to deal with. But and this is actually because the white builds I've been running into on Moto has been playing that new double white that gives your lands hexproof essentially.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't remember the name offhand.
Tomic.
Yeah,
The
Tomic.
2/3 flyer.
Yep, so
Yeah.
now it's like Lumbering Falls is back in the format.
Yep.
Unmoored Ego is a card I dislike highly. However,
But-
you have to deal with Nexus of Fate.
Yep.
Because this is pure card disadvantage, except for when Nexus is involved, you have to do it because then it makes Wilderness Reclamation a little weaker. They can still win out of it, but their combo is gone.
How do you feel about running the one Unmoored Ego against the Esper builds that are basically just trying to win with Teferi?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't have the Teferi like mill lock that I can do because I can't tuck The only thing Nicobolus can do is destroy himself.
Would you ever put in Unmoored Ego to name Teferi?
No, I don't I don't want card disadvantage against some Esper, because it isn't like Surgical in Modern where you take it out their hand and you're like, oh, I got an advantage now. They get to replace that card
unless it's not there.
Yeah, so it doesn't really. The best it's gonna do is like Ataxian Probe, but instead of me drawing a card, it's like you just lose a card.
Yeah,
it's like Ataxian Probe with discard a card in some form, so it's just bad. Like. I'm not a big fan of it, but I have to play it because of Nexus, because that deck is, we've seen the Simic Nexus by like Ali Antrazi, for example, is playing it. It's really good still. Eldest Reborn, Carnage Tyrants, things, Niv Mizzet. I don't know, I haven't seen many Niv Mizzet lists online, but we don't know what the format is yet because it's
We should mention that in no way, shape, or form should you play Nicol Bolas with Niv Mizzet.
No, I've heard that suggestion.
It's a bad suggestion. The mana will not work.
I've even tried it just to make some people happy, and I was sad every single time. I did not cast one of them because I'm looking at my mana. I'm like, oh,
this doesn't work.
Triple blue, triple red, and triple black. I'm asking for a lot from the Magic the Gathering game.
Yep.
REL is another way in case Niv is out there, and plus, REL's Beacon Bolt ability is really good. It hits a lot of things. Hits the gods. The gods aren't indestructible, so I can still get rid of him with him. He's just another out. I can easily lower my curve by taking a Lily out to just sticking the 5-drop walkers if I want to go that route. And one more commence, just because at the end of the day, if walkers aren't coming in, I need to have more creature presence to lock out the game. I can easily switch them out and bring the commence in. It's really good in the control mirror too.
So it looks like you have a lot of cards against control, actually.
Yeah.
Teresa's, Thief, Negate, Commence the Endgame, and maybe even REL for card advantage.
Being a removal-based control deck, we're weaker to the Esper build, of course.
Yep.
I've accepted that since day one. Esper is the ideal control deck, most likely. However, I think against the creature decks, I have a better chance because I am playing more of the removal package compared to where they're countering things. Because we all know counters aren't as good against aggro.
Yep.
They can be, but ideally, you're going to want things like Moment of Craving, Cries, where I'm playing heavy numbers on all. I wish I was playing 4 of these, but too
many 4-drops.
Yeah, 4 and the 5-drops, so we don't want the curve super high now.
Yep. So yeah, you have a lot of things that you would take out against control, like cast downs, moments, cries.
Correct. Yeah, those are easy removal.
I guess you probably keep the rampages and the contempts.
Yeah. This says sack target Teferi at the end of the day. Yep. And one good thing, the new Teferi, which they're playing, we're a very big tapped out control deck. If you noticed,
you can play on your turn just fine.
Yeah, so I'm not too concerned about that. I am concerned about Hero still. It's still Hero Dominator at the end of the day. He's still a good card. I've heard this rumor. But other than that, I think the control matchup. I can't say Grixis would be in the advantage post board still.
But it has a good game against a lot of the field.
Yeah, I love creature decks. Creature decks are fine. Mid-rangey decks can be a little more difficult because, I'm not playing counter magic where that's where counters shine, where Esper is doing fine mid-range, where they can line up their removal Spellbreakers. Mm-hmm. Really good magic card. I don't have a lot of interaction with Spellbreaker. I'm usually going to take 3.
Maybe.
Yeah, once it gets to my turn, I can answer them.
Yeah.
But there ain't nothing I can do about stopping. But most creatures, Moment of Craving is really good in the format right now with all the white running around.
Yep. All right, I think at this point we're just rambling.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thanks for watching, YouTube.